So what is a music entrepreneur? The fact is that an entrepreneur exists only in practice, not in theory. So I can only explain that to you by giving you an example. When I graduated from Indiana University, I was like everybody else, hungry to be a soloist, and everybody was competing for the same orchestra jobs they didn't even particularly want because it was the only paying gig, and yet these orchestras were playing for half-empty halls. But I looked at those empty halls and I thought to myself, there's your opportunity. If we can fill some seats, if we can find people and convince them and give them a passion for classical music, the same passion that I have, maybe we could find audiences who love this and would come to hear me as a soloist and also all of my friends who play so fabulously well. Now, wouldn't that be a worthwhile way of investing my time? And it wasn't until I was much hungrier and more desperate years later when I was playing as a soloist in Germany that someone after a concert asked me, well, what else are you interested in? I told them I really care about building new audiences. And they immediately asked me, well, do you think that you could fill our concert hall with 1,500 teenagers who would pay to hear classical music? I was so desperate, I just said, yes, of course I can do that. And then I just thought, what have I done? And so I toured the city. And there really wasn't much to see. It was the poorest city in Germany, Gelsenkirchen, coal mines that had just been shut down. The city was black, covered in soot. There wasn't much for me to see or do or get inspired with. But the one thing I did notice, that there was a curious number of blue flags everywhere. And so I asked about those blue flags and found out how proud they were of their soccer team, FC Schalke 04. And I knew that was my ticket. If that's what their heart was beating for, that team had to be on my stage. Now, mind you, in Germany, at the time of 1998, when this happened, Peter and the Wolf was the canon. That's what you did for children. And they took their music very, very seriously. The scandal that ensued then turned into publicity that went everywhere in the tabloid press, but also in the sports press. And after that, people wanted to know, who is this crazy American coming up with these concert concoctions? I did build audiences. I did have a solo career for myself, and it was something that I built. I built out of seeing where the need was. I saw an opportunity where others didn't. I suppose that makes me a music entrepreneur. There's something incredibly thrilling about doing a project, taking a big risk and doing something for the first time. But I have to tell you, after 20 years in the business, what thrills me even more is to see somebody else succeed. I love to be able to facilitate a young musician, a student at Carnegie Mellon University or anywhere else where I'm teaching, and help them have that same breakthrough.